Hello to all of you IHBEA beautiful people.
That works.
Steal another line from Jim Carrey. My name is Dominic DeMore, and I want to thank you for tuning in to the second best thing you hear all week. And this time it's guaranteed to be second because we didn't have an episode on Wednesday. Mainly my fault. I decided to take a nap and then woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning. So that Memorial Day hit you hard. But we have a great show for you this week that includes just a touch of last week's box office, as well as the latest film news from around the industry, as well as our assorted thoughts and opinions ranging from insightful to downright obnoxious. As always, with me is my co-host,
James Langos. Hello, everyone.
Dynamite drop in there, Monty. Well, this is the I've Had Better Movies podcast, and we're going to kick it off with the box office from last week. So, just to go right into it, here is the top 5. Taking the number 1 spot was X-Men Apocalypse, earning a bit below expected $80 million. That's $30 million less than its predecessor, Days of Future Past, earned over the same holiday weekend 2 years ago. In second place was the debut sequel, Alice Through the Looking Glass, earning $34.1 million. And the third spot went to Angry Birds, earning $24.6 million. Followed in fourth place by Captain America Civil War, earning $20 million. And finally, rounding out the top 5 was Neighbors 2, earning $11.4 million. Now, keep in mind that these numbers are for the 4-day weekend. I thought about giving you guys the 3-day totals, but what's the point? Yes, they get a little bit of an advantage by getting that extra day into their totals, but at the same time, you have to imagine at least half the people who see that Monday total would have been like, yeah, no, I was totally going to see it Sunday, but I got to see it Monday instead.
Semantics. Big deal.
So we have a bit of a truncated version for you today, so we're not going to go into the normal in-depth conversation we normally have. But James, you have any quick thoughts on the box office?
I guess X-Men not doing as well as they'd hoped. And then same thing with Alice Through the Looking Glass.
Yeah, Alice Through the Looking Glass is the one that really bombed. X-Men, while the number's not great, the studio, that's the number they were projecting to happen. So that's not out of left field. It is a low number. Like I was expecting around 83, but I am surprised it's that low. It's just one of those things where the superhero fatigue has got to be setting in.
I think it's that, and it could have been just it was nicer this weekend too.
Yeah, that's a possibility. We've had a major superhero film every month for the last 3 months.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's go into our picks for next week. Oh, by the way, I did win this week, for the record. Back to within 1 point.
All right, my picks for next week are going to go with X-Men at number 1 again, and then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is the second reboot.
Sequel to the reboot.
To the reboot. Just because I think it's opening in quite a few theaters this week. It is opening in 4,000 theaters.
Wow.
So that's a lot. But I don't know how many people actually liked the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's number 2. I think X-Men can still hang on. Popstar, the Andy Samberg movie that easily could have been an Adam Sandler movie.
You go on third spot, huh?
Yeah. And then Angry Birds at 4. And then the Emilia Clarke romantic film.
Yeah, not so much comedy.
Yeah, that was my bad. Me Before You.
Solid picks. Me personally, I'm going to go a little different, and I wanted to make sure you got yours locked in because you're going to be completely wrong.
That's fine.
There is zero chance that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles does not take the top spot. Anyway, so with that being said, I'm going Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 as the top earner. Then I'm going to go X-Men Age of Apocalypse number 2. I'm going Me Before You third, followed by Alice Through the Looking Glass, followed by Angry Birds. I do not think Popstar makes it into the top 5.
I think it's got a chance.
I had no interest in seeing it. I think it's going to turn some people off being that mockumentary style. It's R-rated. It's Andy Samberg, who is almost box office poison.
Yeah.
So
he's probably going to get a Razzie for it.
I would not doubt it.
Maybe a few.
Yeah, I haven't seen any early reviews or anything for it, but to me, it just I don't like it. Plus, you got to figure Angry Birds will be somewhere around 12 to 15. I think that's going to be a tough fifth spot to break.
Yeah, we'll see.
So those were our picks for this week. As I said, it's a shortened version because we didn't have an episode on Wednesday. But let us know what your top 5 picks are. You can send those to the Twitter account at ihbpodcast, or use the hashtag ihbmovies, or just send us a good old-fashioned email, ihbpodcast@gmail.com. All right, so now that you've heard our predictions, how about we go into the top news for the week? James, what's our first story?
Our first story is Birth Movie's death has reported some major news in the James Bond universe. As Dom and I have talked about many times thus far, going as far as to even debate Elba versus Hiddleston, but it appears now that actor Tom Hiddleston is in heavy talks to take on the iconic spy role. In addition to the casting news, director Sam Mendes has also ruled himself out of directing the next film, saying it is time for someone else to take the reins. What are your thoughts on the casting and the directing news? And do you have a pick for who you would want to helm the franchise's next entry?
It's not that surprising. You and I have been talking for a couple of weeks about this, actually, about Hiddleston being eyed for the role, and it makes sense. I mean,
yeah, he's a good safe pick.
Yeah, he really is. Like, I think when we did the argument, I took Hiddleston's side and you took Elba, but I was pulling for Elba. I wanted him, but I think this is a solid second pick. I like this way more than the other guys who had been rumored.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good pick for them. He's a terrific actor, and I feel like he can play that Bond character.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the smooth return. Like I think he's going to be more Pierce Brosnan than Daniel Craig, so that'll be a nice change up. Considering like the Daniel Craig Bonds are so up and down. Like I absolutely adore Casino Royale and Skyfall, and I think Quantum of Solace and Spectre were both awful. I really hated Quantum of Solace. And
Quantum of Solace sucked, but that could have been because it was during the writer's strike.
Yeah, and they rushed it through.
They rushed it. I didn't think Spectre was that bad, though.
I really did not like it.
I mean, it was a decent film. There were a lot of big names in there.
Yeah, I just felt like they wasted Batista, Dave Batista, as the main henchman. Like, they gave him the super cool, like, I'm going to gouge your eyes out with my silver thumbs, and then he uses it once? Like, he never really even attempts to use it on James Bond.
He also wasn't even in the film very long.
Yeah, no, that's why I think it was a waste. Like, he had potential to be one of those iconic Bond henchmen, and he...
Like a Jaws or Odd Job.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but he just falls by the wayside. And then I thought their handling of Blofeld / Christoph Waltz was weird. Like, the whole... not half brother, but adopted brother, and they turn it like into Star Trek Into Darkness, where totally Benedict Cumberbatch is not Khan. There's no way he's gonna be Khan. Did I tell you he wasn't Khan? Because he's not Khan. His name is super generic, like John Smith. Although I think it was John Anderson or something like that. But he's totally not gonna be Khan. And what happens? He's Khan. It was the same thing with this one. Like, Waltz was, no, I'm not Blofeld. I mean, I'm with Spectre, and it's titled Spectre, and Blofeld's the head of Spectre, and I'm a high-profile actor, but I'm totally not going to be Blofeld.
Yeah, they do that shit all the time.
Yeah, which was annoying. They should have just been straight up with it.
Yeah, but you can't hate on the movie because of the publicity or the marketing that they try.
Yeah, but no, but the fact that they tried the entire time to like kind of convince you that he wasn't. Like,
don't be so gullible.
He doesn't even use the name Blofeld until the very end. Like, if he would have been straight up like at that meeting and been like, and told that his name was Blofeld and been like, James, I'm your adopted brother or whatever.
Maybe that was their idea of a weird turn at the end of the movie,
which was awful. Which is why the movie was
I'm
bad.
just saying why they did it. But I do like that that they're going to change pace, and Hiddleston's more of probably a finesse Bond and not so much a brute force like Craig was.
Yeah.
So there might be some more technology involved, and hopefully the gadgets will get a little cooler.
Yeah, I would. I wouldn't say I missed it from Daniel Craig's
Bond. It was a good
Bond.
change of pace.
Like the idea where like the watch does all these things, and he has pens that can do all these cool things. And I get it that those are gimmicks, but I kind of missed them a little bit.
Yeah.
So it would be cool to see them come back with...
It goes back to, us loving training scenes. And,
yes, it does.
And I think that's where it starts. But I still like Q. think he was a great character.
Ben Whishaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hope they don't. I don't hope they don't do that kind of a reboot.
I hope not either.
Although I'd be cool with getting rid of Ralph Fiennes. He's a great actor. I just don't love him as M.
Yeah, it was an interesting twist, and I think they did it just to have some sort of lead in after.
Yeah, I mean you can't have
Judi Dench.
Yeah, you can't have Dame Judi Dench in all these movies until she's like 90.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they come up with something different.
Yeah, do you have a pick for who you would want to direct?
I'm leaning towards Guy Ritchie.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean he's English or at least from the United Kingdom. I'm not sure exactly where he's from, but
he's from the UK.
Yeah, so that
is a definite bonus, and it helps.
Yeah,
and he's a pretty well-known and popular action director.
Mm-hmm.
With Snatch, The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yeah, that
he recently came out, and then,
he's dipped his toe into the spy realm.
Yeah, movie he's really known for is Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Yeah, that and
one of my favorites.
The Sherlock Holmes series.
And yes, the terrific Sherlock Holmes, which apparently they're making another one.
Yeah, that's the rumor. They're working on the script, but Downey wants to do it. I mean, it helps that it's his only other successful film outside of the Avengers.
Yeah, well, I mean, does the guy really need more money?
That's a good point. Yeah, so I think Guy Ritchie's a really good pick. That truthfully, until you said him, it didn't even cross my mind.
What do you got? Or whom do you have? Is that proper? I don't know. Whom?
They talk about this in an episode of The Office.
Yeah.
And I wish I remember.
I can't remember what it is.
But I have a couple of different names I'm going to throw around. Christopher Nolan is he's not my pick for the record, but he is kind of that hot pick that everybody talks about. Like, oh, imagine if Christopher Nolan did a Bond film.
Yeah, everyone loves Nolan.
Yeah, because, I mean, he
go from Batman to Bond.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
He tackled a bit of the spy film in Inception, like they're essentially dream spies. This was my original pick, but since thinking about it, I'm no longer picking him. But Ben Affleck, I think, would be awesome.
Ben Affleck would be pretty cool.
He did a great job with the town and that kind of heist feel, and I think he could continue the grittiness that we've seen through
with the Sam Mendes Bond.
Yeah, like if they wanted to do like a Hiddleston Bond where he's finesse at times, but then he also has that gritty feel, I think Ben Affleck could really pull that off. But my pick is the team of directors who did John Wick.
Interesting choice.
Yeah.
Now, are they American?
They are not.
Okay, I think that's good.
Yeah.
Because apparently James Bond series and franchise does not like Americans.
Yeah, I only went back to like the mid-90s, but I didn't see any American directors. Could be wrong, but again, I didn't go back past the 90s. But I think they're great. Their names are Chad Stahelski and David Leitch. And if you've seen John Wick or listened to this podcast, it's one of my favorite movies of all time now. That movie has such rewatchability. It's so simple at its core, but does this insane job of world building that I would love to see these guys do more. I know they're doing the sequel, so let's see how that turns out. If they can recapture some of that magic, then I think they should definitely get a shot. But their ability to show Keanu Reeves, who is smooth as hell in the movie, but has this awesome, he calls it gun fu. That's the kind of stuff I could see Tom Hiddleston really pulling off. Because he's got
that same stature.
Yeah, and he's not the brute like you talked about. He has that like...
He's more finesse.
And that's what that gun fu stuff is.
Yeah.
So I would love to see the guys who did John Wick.
Yeah, that's a great pick. It's so simple at its core, and it's entertaining.
I completely agree. Let us know what you guys think of Tom Hiddleston as Bond, and also submit your picks for who you think should be the director. Is there somebody who stands out to you? Would you like to see Sam Mendes return? Or is there somebody completely out of left field that James and I have not mentioned who you'd like to see take up the reins? You can send those submissions to where, James?
Well, there's the email, which will work, which is the ihbpodcast@gmail.com.
Yep. And you can also hit us up on Twitter at IHBpodcast, or on Facebook. Go like and comment and post and just share your heart's desires.
Yeah, there's plenty of ways to contact us.
Yeah. Search James Langos. Be careful what you do there because his Google imagery is awful. Just horses and buggies and whips and odd-looking females with hairy chins. I don't want to judge, James.
No, I'm pretty sure all that comes up is a Hungarian dessert.
Is that what the kids are calling it these days? All right, guys.
Check it for yourself.
For the next topic, we have, thanks to the Hollywood Reporter, we know that Simon Pegg of Star Trek fame will be joining the noir thriller Terminal alongside Margot Robbie, Max Irons, and Dexter Fletcher. The film is already shooting in Hungary and is described as two hitmen go on what seems to be a suicide mission while working for a mysterious employer named Annie. While that sounds interesting enough, the more shocking news is that Austin Powers himself, Mike Myers, will be joining the cast, returning to the silver screen in his first live-action role since 2009's Inglourious Basterds. So, what I want to know is what actor do you, James, want to see make a comeback a la Mike Myers?
It took me a little while to think about this one, but I'm going to go with Sean William Scott.
Yeah?
Yeah. The last movie that I can remember, last bigger movie that I can remember him doing is Role Models.
Yeah, I mean, he's done some, like, indie stuff. Like, he was in that Goon movie.
Yeah, I'm not counting that. I'm counting...
Although that's a good movie. I really like that movie.
It's okay. But I'm counting, like, a bigger movie.
Yeah,
like
no.
American Pie-esque.
I agree, yeah.
Actually, was the new American Pie?
Yeah, American Reunion was post Role Models.
All right, but he needs to do more stuff.
Outside of the American franchise.
Yes. He's a funny guy, and he's great. He has great timing, and he belongs back in Hollywood. I
agree. I think that's a solid choice. I've always liked his work. I mean, I think The Rundown doesn't get enough credit. Like, between him and The Rock, I think that movie's hilarious. And Christopher Walken.
Mm-hmm. Christopher Walken's great in that movie.
Yes, I really like that movie. Goon is on Netflix all the time. It's always one of the trending picks because that's a funny, like, R-rated sports comedy movie.
I was just looking through his IMDb page, and I didn't realize this, but he's in all the Ice Age movies.
Yeah, but he's like the sixth lead in that movie.
Well, so he's at least doing something.
Yeah, I mean, but it's
voice
acting. We're talking about, and I mean, because Mike Myers has done some voice stuff, like he's just done the Shreks and all that. But we're talking about live action back to real releases.
They are going to do. It's in post production. Goon, Last of the Enforcers.
Yeah, I heard that.
So
that'll probably end up going to Netflix. I doubt it gets a theatrical release, but you never know. As far as my picks go, I went straight to the childhood angle. I was like, okay, who was in the 90s that I really liked watching that I wish would make a comeback? And I have a couple of names. The first one is Tim Allen. He's done
Home Improvement.
Yeah, done the Toy Story stuff, and he had some big hits with the Santa Claus. And I think he's a good actor who, if he wanted to come back, I think he's actually got some real dramatic chops in him. I could see him doing something really cool, like Michael Keaton-esque. Like, not quite to that level, because Keaton's obviously a...
like, you think he can play Birdman?
I don't think something to that level, but something like in The Other Guys, where Michael Keaton played the chief of the police department, and he's got some very funny roles in it. So I think he could do something like that to get his name back, and then after that, like, a little bit smaller roles, or something like J.K. Simmons maybe has done, like from Whiplash. Like,
that's a good point.
He's a really great supporting character.
I think he's just tired of all that.
Yeah,
I think he likes doing his sitcom and getting his paycheck every week, and
also
that's
helps.
it.
He's probably got a shit ton of money. Like,
yeah,
between the Toy Story movies, where he has to go into work like 3 weeks a year, and he got
probably still getting checks from Home Improvement.
Oh yeah, that thing is still in syndication. Every time it shows up, it probably gets $5 in the mail.
Yeah,
so that's good. And yeah, like you said, he's got that Last Man Standing show, so he's not out of the public eye. I just would wish to see him back onto the silver screen.
Yeah,
but
it'd be good to see.
The other two picks I have, who I have no idea why these guys aren't bigger movie stars, and maybe it's because they were kind of back in the early 2000s or late 90s. James Van Der Beek and Joshua Jackson.
Joshua Jackson could definitely do more.
Yeah. Like, him in The Skulls, I love. He was great on that movie, on that show Fringe. He was in a movie a couple of years ago with Christina Ricci and a young Jessie Eisenberg, where it's a werewolf movie. Do not remember the name of it, but I thought that movie, he plays the villain, spoilers, and I thought that movie was great. So I'd love to see him get a role in the Marvel Universe. I think he's great. He's very franchisable. And Vanderbeek is the same thing. Like, he was great in Varsity Blues, and he was in that Power Rangers short, Power/Rangers, which I think you can still find on YouTube. It got taken down a couple of times, but you should go check that out, and you will be pumped for an upcoming Power Rangers movie, although it's not going to be the same gritty feel.
I have a feeling people don't like working with James Vanderbeek.
Why is that?
Because he's outspoken, and I think some of his views, if I remember correctly, he said some things that people didn't like.
They're very political.
Yeah.
That makes sense. All right, just Joshua Jackson. Go screw yourself, James Vanderbeek. Having an opinion. What are you thinking? You're paid to look pretty. Nobody cares what you have to say.
That's why Joshua Jackson's a safe choice.
Exactly. All right, let's go on to our next topic. But before we do that, how would you guys send us in your picks of who you want to be making a comeback? Do it in the comment section below, or, as always, you can go to our Facebook page. That is the I've Had Better Podcast Facebook page. And then you can just leave us a comment. Also, invite your friends. Always a positive when you invite your friends. James, what's the next topic?
Our next topic is Deadline has released a story saying that Adam Sandler and his production company, Happy Madison, are in talks to make an untitled family animated film with STX Entertainment, who has made some of Sandler's most iconic films. What are your thoughts on Sandler's returning to the world of animation? Which I don't think it's been too long since he's done his.
No, like he did both of those. I don't think he produced them himself. He might have, but he did
Hotel Transylvania.
Yeah, which number one is really good. I actually really like the first film. I didn't see the second one, but it didn't make as much money, and I don't think it's did as well critically. So, but I mean, 8 Crazy Nights is legendary in my opinion. I love that movie. And the STX company, they did movies like Wedding Singer and Billy Madison and stuff like that. So I think it's good that he's going back to them. Hopefully they can have a stronger say and be like, hey, all your movies have sucked lately. That Netflix deal is probably Netflix's worst investment in the last 20 years.
I think people are actually watching those, though.
I don't think so. If they're watching them, I think they're watching them ironically.
Does that matter at that point?
Yeah, but imagine if they were good.
Yeah, but people are still watching them, and that's what they want.
Yeah, but I don't know. The thing about Netflix is, like, they make a movie or they make a TV show. It's not so much about people watching it as people who are like, oh man, I gotta go sign up for Netflix so I can watch it. I think you and I, well, I'm not watching it, I don't think you are either, but like my roommate Adam, he watches it because he needs something to fall asleep to. Like, you throw on an Adam Sandler movie and it's there. They don't care if Adam watches it. They care about the people,
subscribers.
Yeah, they care about the ones who are signing up so that they're like, oh, I really want to see that Adam Sandler movie. I don't think anybody's doing that anymore.
No.
And judging by the success of Pixels, I highly doubt anybody's doing that anymore.
That's true.
So what are your thoughts on him returning to the world of animation?
I don't know. I'm a little weary on anything he does. Is it going to be directed towards kids, which he's been doing recently?
From what I hear, it's family-based.
The newest Netflix movie that he came out with.
The Do-Over.
I think that's actually R or something.
I think so, too.
But other than that, it can be a good thing. If he does something like Hotel Transylvania, it'll be good.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And hopefully, being with STX again, they'll kind of guide him in the right direction.
Yeah, that's the goal. Like, I highly doubt he sets out to make a bad movie.
No, I don't think he does either.
I think some of his creative choices, he's aware that, like, this could work.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm sure at this point he's doing stuff that's fun for him.
Yeah, that's the running joke in Hollywood. It's like, when Adam Sandler makes a movie, it's just because he wanted to hang out with his friend and go on vacation.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to, like, Detroit to shoot his films. All of his films are, like, Hawaii, Africa, like, cool locations.
Yeah, which I don't blame him. I'd do the same thing if I could.
Yeah. It's just the guy's reputation has taken such a hit over the last couple of years.
That's one of those things. I don't think he cares.
But you wish he did. Because
can you fault him for not caring, though?
No. From everything I hear, the guy's a good guy.
I'm sure he is. Everyone loves him.
He's cool to his fans and stuff like that.
Buys his friends Corvettes when the movie does well.
Yeah. That's because most of his friends can't act worth a shit, and they like, I don't have any other money coming in.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. I think that's enough said about Adam Sandler. He comes out with a couple of hits. We'll devote more time to him. What do you guys think about Adam Sandler? Send all of your good comments to the toilet, because that's where they belong. If you got bad comments, let me hear them. I always like to hear people talk smack. During a conference call last week, Lionsgate CEO John Feathermere, well, one of those. Probably not the last one.
Feathermere.
There we go. Expressed the studio's interest in making up to 7 more sequels to the Power Rangers film set to hit theaters in March of 2017. James and I have talked on several occasions about both the costumes of the Rangers and that of Elizabeth Banks, who is set to play the villain. But while nothing has been confirmed at this point about additional sequels, what are your thoughts on a potential 7 more films?
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I think all the studios now are planning for multiple movies. They're obviously going to wait and see how the first one does. If the first one does well, then there's a possibility then, 2 and 3 and 4 might be made. But 7 is an aggressive number to start with.
Yeah, and I feel like that was, that's a little bit of marketing. we got total faith in this. We're going to make 8 of these.
They're so confident in what they've got going right now that they're able to make 7.
Yeah, I mean, it's the LeBron. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5. I could keep going, but nobody's going to pay attention if I keep going.
It still burns.
Yeah, being from Cleveland, that can be rough. But I think that's part of it. And the other part is, it's definitely, I think there's going to be 2 for sure. Because it's going to get that Ninja Turtles type feel. To where opening weekend, I guarantee it does good numbers. Because I'm a big Power Rangers fan. I grew up with the stuff as a kid. I'm going to go opening weekend. They're going to get my money. The budgets on these are fairly moderate. They're probably over $100 million, I would think, but they're paying the cast and stuff peanuts. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. I do worry, say if this first one is good, that it's going to get like a Transformers.
For the next one?
Not the next one, but each one is going to follow that same kind of method, and they're going to be, and you're going to lose the credibility / the stakes of the movie. Like in the Transformers now, 1 through 3, stuff went down, and you knew that the good guys were going to win in the end, but at the same time, there was that element to where it's oh God, I don't know what's going to happen, or they were gritty and dark enough. Whereas with these movies, but now in the the Transformers, you know what's going to happen in the end. The Autobots are going to come out on top. They're almost becoming cookie cutter and lazy in a way.
Yeah, I think...
there's no stakes.
The Transformer movies, they're just relying on CGI and action.
Yeah.
There's no real story. There's no... the dialogue's terrible. And
yeah. Which is what I'm afraid that these movies will end up doing.
It's an honest concern because... when you're planning to make this many movies, it could happen.
Yeah. All right, so what do you guys think of the potential multiple sequels to the Power Rangers film? You guys have any thoughts? Let us know at www.ihbpodcast.com.
Variety has reported that Jake Gyllenhaal is going to reunite with Prisoners enemy director Denis Villeneuve as the team look to adapt to Joe Nesbo's acclaimed novel, The Son, which follows the story of a long-imprisoned drug addict who stages a breakout in order to extract vengeance when he discovers the surprising truth behind his father's suicide. Take it or leave this movie.
I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it good.
I'm all in on this guy.
Yeah. I like Gyllenhaal. I don't always love his movie choices because he tends to do those very actor roles. But I love his actual mainstream movies. I loved Prisoners.
Prisoners was very good.
Yeah. And then I enjoyed Southpaw.
Southpaw was good.
I didn't enjoy everything about the movie.
Yeah, if he would have just talked normal, it would have been great.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big deterrent for me.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm a big buy on this film. I am extremely interested to see what kind of physical transformation he's going to do. Because you got to figure...
he's always doing something.
Yeah, you got to figure as a drug addict who's also in prison, he's either going to go one of two ways. He's going to go like rail thin, or he's going to get like prison in shape. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I know I've heard him say in the past that he's tired of, either bulking up or losing all this weight. So we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. So I'm curious. It feels to me a little bit like Prison Break meets The Princess Bride. Like, hello, my name is Diego Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Oh, I don't know if Princess Bride is the right choice, but I like where you're going. Well, I think you're in the right direction.
Okay, I'm not saying the entire Princess Bride, but that one little section.
Just the name right there is.
But what are your thoughts on the film?
I definitely like the director. I think he's done some great movies. Like Prisoners is awesome. It's another one of those great twist movies.
Makes your skin crawl.
Yeah. So that's a good thing that he's going to be doing this. And then Jake Gyllenhaal's, I personally like him in almost everything he does. And he's got the ability to do whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Just doesn't get the same kind of acclaim that like Leo does, which is kind of sad.
A little bit, but I mean, I think he'll get there.
He's also not doing a biopic every other year.
That's true.
Which Leo loves to do.
And Leo's like the perfect formula actor. Like, he's not Will Smith, to where Will Smith only does movies that are going to be like blockbusters or super heavy Oscar potential. Mm-hmm. Leo does the ones where all of his movies are a little bit of both.
Mostly Oscar baited, though. Until, who knows, that could change now.
But like Inception, was Inception Oscar bait?
No.
And The Revenant was Oscar bait to a point. If they would have filmed that movie, if Iñárritu wouldn't have directed that and made it so like important that they did like on location stuff and natural light, I don't think it would have had the same Oscar appeal.
Yeah, I mean, Leo's also going for talent. He wants to work with the best.
True. Yeah,
and it may not be an Oscar movie, but he's working with the best directors, best producers, cinematographers,
Oscar-worthy talent.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think I love the idea of this movie. It sounds super interesting. I'm always up for a Prison Break movie. I'm always up for a revenge story, and anything that involves a plan, I'm in. In our weekly Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson segment, thanks to his personal Facebook page, we now know that the Samoan Hulk will be playing Doc Savage in Shane Black's version of the classic character film, which is not slated to have a release date yet. I think the script is still in the works, but should be coming out in the next couple of years. James, what do you think of The Rock taking on yet another major franchisable film in his long list of projects?
This guy's a machine. He doesn't stop working ever. I don't even think he sleeps.
Probably
I think he's like Kobe Bryant.
No, with how much he works out and like filming and all that. Like,
I know he's starting his production company. He's always coming out with something, some new workout thing or a bag or a new app alarm clock. He's
Does he really have his own alarm clock?
Yeah.
Wow, that's when you know you've made it.
You have an app alarm clock?
Yeah.
Is that when you reached your peak?
Yes. Before the alarm clock, I wasn't so sure he was there, but come on.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm okay with it. I think anything The Rock does, it's going to make money. Yeah. He's one of the most bankable actors right now.
Yeah. Are you familiar with Doc Savage?
No.
I'm not extremely... I know the name, and I've heard it stuff, and I know it's a classic like literature / early comic kind of thing. Like not... more like it back in the days when comics came in magazines and not like comic books. But according to the Wikipedia page, Doc Savage, or Clark Savage Jr., I believe, was a physician, a scientist, an adventurer, an inventor, an explorer, a researcher, and he was basically raised by a team of scientists who were brought together by his father, who deliberately trained his mind and body to near superhuman abilities, almost from birth, giving him great strength and endurance, a photographic memory, a mastery of the martial arts, and a vast knowledge of sciences. He's also a master of disguise, and the creator has described him as a guy who rights wrongs and punishes evildoers, and can best be described as a mix of Sherlock Holmes, Tarzan, and Craig Kennedy's scientific education. Oh, and a little bit of Abraham Lincoln's goodness. Yeah, so
it's a lot of hats.
Yeah. Essentially, it feels like Captain America minus the spandex, the shield, and the super serum.
Now, is he going to, I don't know if you know this, but is he going to be more of a Punisher type?
No.
Or is he going to be like, we're going to put you in prison type of thing?
And
not kill you.
No, he's not. I don't think he's a killer. I think it's very like, because it's set in like the 1930s, and I think they might end up doing a period piece version of it. So
I think they could go either way, but yeah.
To me, it feels like it's closer to like his Journey to the Center of the Earth character. So a little bit more of that like, aw shucks, I just want to do the right thing, mister.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's intriguing.
Yeah. I mean, anything he does is good.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Shane Black directing?
I think Shane Black's good. I mean, I saw the Nice Guys. Wasn't my favorite movie in the world. I thought it was just okay, but I think he's got potential. I'm intrigued to see because he's going to be making a new Predator movie that's supposed to come out in the next couple of years.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. And I think somebody with The Rock's charisma could really do well under Shane Black.
I agree.
Yeah. Like Iron Man 3, while I wasn't crazy about the movie, spoilers, mainly because of what he did to the Mandarin, I don't think he's going to be able to do that with Doc Savage. He's not going to be able to destroy my childhood with a character that I never knew existed.
Yeah. And I don't know if you've seen Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
I have not in many years.
But it's one of my favorite movies, too.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's on the list.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's the one everybody goes to when they talk about Shane Black. They're like, oh, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and then a little bit of Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, well, it's hard to leave Lethal Weapon off any list.
A little bit. So, yeah. I mean, it's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. You got to bank on him.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys think? Let us know on our Facebook page or comment in the section below for this video.
Just in case you were not skeptical enough about Zack Snyder's Justice League Part 1, Jessie Eisenberg, while speaking at MCM London Comic-Con last week, confirmed that his character Lex Luthor will return in the DC film team-up. He's going to Eisenberg the shit out of this.
I mean, I don't.
And it's not a positive either.
No, I don't want to say.
I'm going to say it. I'm okay.
I just, hopefully, he takes
You're only staying positive because you love Batman.
I am. I can't help it. I don't,
It's a bad move. No one liked him in the first one.
There were some people that liked him.
I don't think that's true.
There were some because I listened to him on the internet.
Well, they're wrong.
Yeah, I'm not saying I agree with them either because I hated Eisenberg in the first film. I have my fingers crossed that either A, he's normal, like the voices are out of his head kind of a thing.
Okay.
Fingers crossed for that. I doubt it. Or option 2, it's a glorified cameo. There's going to be an invasion. Either Superman or Batman are going to show up at the cell and be like, what's going on?
That's genius on DC's part because they're going to be like, all right, Jesse Eisenberg's going to be in this movie. And everyone's going to be like, shit, I don't want to see it. And then after that first week, when all the real people go, all the real fans go see it, they're going to see it anyway.
Yeah.
Then they're going to have better follow-up because they'll be like, no, he's only in it for a couple minutes. Like, all right, I'll go see this now.
Yeah, it's a different possibility. And truthfully, I have no idea how big his role is going to be.
Oh, that's extremely unlikely. I don't think it's going to happen.
Those two are just my main hopes. You got any other thoughts besides you hate it?
No. That'd be it.
Yeah, I mean, I know. It's one of those things where I want him in it because it's Lex Luthor, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't really want Eisenberg in it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
moving on.
He's going to Eisenberg it.
Moving on.
All right, for you guys, we're going to do another new-ish segment. We're just going to list off some of the top stories from around the industry that we don't really have time to go into and talk about every topic because otherwise it would be having an hour and a half episode. Then James and I are going to pick one, and we're going to talk about it. And then you guys can go research the rest if you want, or just take our word for it. The first one is Kingsman 2 is adding to its already stellar cast with Jeff Bridges. This comes via his personal Twitter account. Michael Bay, also via Twitter, revealed, I think it was Instagram, one of the two. It was social media people. Who cares? Michael Bay revealed that the villain for Transformers 5, The Last Night, will be Megatron. And Dan Aykroyd has praised Ghostbusters, the new reboot. He went on his personal Facebook account and said, "This movie's great," because they paid him, most likely. He is in the movie.
Yeah, because he wants a second one.
Exactly. He's not like his door's getting knocked down for roles these days. He probably had 1 or 2 bottles of that Skull vodka he's always pitching.
Probably.
Next, Disney has announced the release date for the Mary Poppins Returns film, and it will be December 25th, 2018. And finally, Thor Ragnarok has been confirmed to include aspects of Planet Hulk, which James and I have talked about in the past, where the Hulk gets to go aggro, becomes a little smarter, basically dominates an entire planet, and becomes the king. So, James, of those topics, which one do you want to talk about?
I actually kind of want to talk about Mary Poppins.
Let her rip.
I'm glad that Mary Poppins is coming back. I think it's a good move by Disney. The Saving Mr. Banks wasn't really all that Mary Poppins. It was kind of how the story got together and everything. Mm-hmm. And then Emily Blunt playing Mary Poppins is a smart move. I think that'll work. I think she's definitely one of the bankable actresses right now. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure on their choice of December 25th.
Really?
Christmas is a tough day.
I actually love the release date, though.
I don't know. I think there's just going to be a lot of...
Yeah, of course it depends on what's going against it.
Yeah, which I'm not sure of yet.
I mean, most likely there'll be a Star Wars movie.
Possibly. Early December. I think that's kind of where they're going with them.
Yeah. It won't be like a Star Wars saga movie. It won't be Episode 9.
No, it'll be...
but it'll be... in theory, it could be a spin-off, a standalone film. But I actually love the release date. Because to me, you're going to pull in so many families. Like, oh, it's Christmas Day. Like a nice light dusting of snow hits the ground. And your mother whisks the children up early in the morning. You open presents. Then you go see Mary Poppins. Just like she did when she was a small lass.
That may work for some parts of the country. Other parts, they don't have snow.
Well,
it's possible, though.
It's definitely possible. I like it. Again, like you said, it depends on what it's going against. Like,
I just think it's a tough time to be a movie in December.
Yeah,
because the Oscars are coming up, and it's what a lot of the studios push for Oscar bait movies.
Yeah,
and I don't know if Mary Poppins is that type of movie.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I want to talk about the Transformers.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Yeah. I am so up in the air on whether or not I want Megatron to come back.
Can I give my opinion?
Go for it.
I don't think he should be back. How many times can he be, partially destroyed?
Yeah. I get that. Trust me,
and this will be how many movies he's been in? More than Shia LaBeouf.
It is more than Shia LaBeouf. But my main issue is just, because... it's hard for me to think Transformers and not think Megatron. And it also helps Transformers doesn't have a huge number of other big time villains.
I don't really know that because I don't know the...
Yeah, but okay, you saw the fourth one.
Unfortunately.
Can you tell me who the bad guy was?
No.
Exactly.
I couldn't even tell you a lot of things about that movie.
And true, because it wasn't a very good movie overall, but that's just one more forgettable aspect. If it was Megatron, you would have remembered him.
That's true.
So I'm up in the air on whether or not I would like to have him in the film. The other end of it, though, the argument against him is I would love to see them go to somebody like Unicron, who I know you're not familiar with, but he was a big part of the TV show growing up, and he's basically a transformer the size of a planet.
All right.
Yeah, so, I mean...
I like where you're going with
this. Yeah, they make him a little smaller just for cinematic reasons.
Like a moon.
Yeah, and then you get a team-up version. If to start off with, the Decepticons would obviously be trying to help him, but at the very end, kind of like what they did in number 3.
When you said team-up, I thought you meant Shia LaBeouf and Mark Wahlberg team up.
I'm in. I'm not gonna lie. You bring Shia LaBeouf back to these movies, I guarantee you I'm gonna like it. I don't even
maybe
care.
They bring back Megan Fox. Who knows?
I wish they would.
She's too busy playing with turtles.
Yeah, it's a more accurate love interest than freaking whatever we're gonna get in this next one.
12-year-old and Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. If they do that, I swear to God, I'd quit.
No, they can't. They really can't.
Yeah. What do you, of those stories we just read off? Which one is most interesting to you? Let us know in the comment section below, or hit us up on social media. All right, and before we wrap up the show, here is the new installment that James and I came up with a few weeks ago. Officially has been titled Pick It or Kick It. So, James, which of the stories we talked about today are you going to pick? And which of the stories we talked about today are you going to kick down the road?
Let's start with the pick. Stay positive. The pick story is going to be Tom Hiddleston as James Bond.
Yep, solid pick.
I've always loved the James Bond films. I think I've almost seen all of them, which is pretty good since some of the first ones are like early 60s or late 60s, early 70s, somewhere in there.
Back when Sean Connery.
Yeah, and I think it's a iconic character that Hiddleston can kind of maintain for at least 3 films.
Yeah,
which would be cool to see. The only question I kind of wonder is, what does that do for Loki? But I mean, people have managed 2 large franchises before. So
yeah, and I think he's also pretty much run his course as Loki. Like, short of them turning him into a legit hero, you can't have him in every
I agree.
Thor movie. Like, he's going to be in the Thor 3, and I think that should be the end of his arc.
Well, I'm sure at this point, if he does do anything, it'll be small enough to where he can still have a movie or another franchise.
Yeah. For me, my picket is going to be Jake Gyllenhaal reteaming with his Prisoners director.
Good choice.
Yeah. I think this movie sounds awesome. I like what Jake Gyllenhaal is going to bring to it. I think the director is really good. And I think that they both work well in that kind of like dark aspect. Even in Gyllenhaal's like quirky, fun movies, there's still like a dark element. Like Anne Hathaway has Parkinson's and Love and Other Drugs.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely going to be my picket for this week.
Good choice. I like it. That was my second.
Yeah. And which one are you going to kick it like a bag full of puppies? Nothing on that? No comment on the puppy kicking?
I was in deep thought because I think it might change mine.
What are you going with?
No, I'm going to stick with that. I was thinking the Adam Sandler, but there's potential that could be a good film.
Yeah.
And, of course, Jessie Eisenberg is the kick it. Come on, Zach. You're better than that. What are you doing? I hope it's all a lie and you're just trying to get people pissed, and then you're going to be like, all right, he's really not in it, and then we'll all be happy.
Yeah. Like, of all the changes coming at DC that you hear about, like, you're surprised that wasn't one of them. So we're like, you know what, we're going to distance ourselves from the guy that everybody kind of hated.
Yeah.
My kick it, I actually am going to change, because the story that I am now going to pick was so off my radar, I completely forgot about it until you said it. I originally was going to pick the Power Rangers movie, getting up to 7 sequels, but I definitely would rather kick the Adam Sandler story.
I'm glad I could help.
Yeah. Even though it's going to be a family movie, and I'm sure it's going to make money, and it's probably going to be decent, like Hotel Transylvania was, I'm so over Adam Sandler at this point. Like, I don't... Even when he does the animated movies, I don't even see him as Adam Sandler. I just see him as another guy who makes voices.
Yeah. He's just in this rut where, I mean, he wouldn't call it that, but he just wants to do stuff that his kids are going to enjoy.
Probably. And I want him to do something just dramatic so bad. Like, he was great in Reign Over Me, and Punch Drunk Love was really good, and the ending of Click will bring me to tears.
Yeah.
Like, I want him to do something dramatic so bad, but he just keeps doing the same things over and over again.
A movie like Click would be good for him.
Yeah. So, those are our pickets and our kick-its for this week. Let us know what you guys thought, and hopefully like and subscribe to this episode. Now, let's do our outro. I want to thank you all for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, please like this episode and subscribe to the I've Had Better Podcast Network. Also, follow us on Twitter at IHB Podcast and on Facebook, go like the I've Had Better podcast page. James, tell the people where to find you.
I am on Twitter at THE_KEYSER_SOZE, or on Facebook as Jimmy Langos. And please check out our website at www.ihbpodcast.com. And don't forget to subscribe and listen to our iTunes.
Exactly. And you can find those by simply going onto iTunes and either searching IHB Movies, IHB Podcast, or I've Had Better Podcast. And as always, I am Dominic Damore, and you can follow me on Twitter at Dom Damore or on Facebook at Dominic Damore. Feel free to reach out, you IHBEA beautiful people. James, how was the show today?
I've had better.
Good night, everybody.